What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to today's video as we continue a breakdown and preview from the beta. From what we know so far, again, these things could change before release, of the X Factors that will be available and superstar abilities in Madden 20. We've already taken a look at the quarterbacks, we've looked at the running backs yesterday, and today we're going to be taking a look at the receivers. So this is both wide receivers and tight ends that have these very special abilities in the upcoming game. I mean, a common question that I've seen, and there's a good suggestion that I've seen in the first couple videos talking about this, is you guys want to know how overpowered they really do feel, and I can't stress enough that they do feel pretty overpowered. Obviously, there's varying degrees, and I will make note when there is an ability as we go through these lists and stuff that I experienced that was super overpowered. So, you know, we talked about Aaron Rodgers, who had the gambler trait. That was scary, pretty scary. That's a pretty scary one. The running backs, nothing looked too crazy, even though they did add a C4 special ability, and we're gonna do the same here at wide receiver. Overall, I don't think there's anything that's super overpowered, especially from an X Factor standpoint, but some of the superstar passive abilities are pretty damn good. As always, we do need to thank MaddenSchool.com for making the nice, concise list here, and for a full breakdown, the link is in the description below. You can go check that out and get all of the goods, but we'll go through a decent amount of that in today's video. So as we start, let's list the following players. We'll start with X Factor abilities at release. We have AJ Green, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins, Adam Thielen, Odell Beckham Jr., Antonio Brown, and for the tight ends, you have the three best tight ends in the National Football League in Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, and George Kittle. Now, the players that only have superstar abilities, so a bunch of the X Factors also have superstar abilities, clearly, but players that don't have X Factor but do have some special abilities, we have Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, Devontae Adams, and Julian Edelman. So, as always, as we've started these last couple videos, let's look at some omissions, some debatable players that don't have abilities. The biggest omission clearly is going to be Tyreek Hill, but with the off-the-field issues, are you really that shocked? It's going to be interesting to see if he's even in the game at release. I assume he will be. I mean, they didn't take out Ezekiel Elliott when he got bumped, and I mean, this is in terms of how I think it'll be handled by the league. I think it'll be fairly similar. I mean, we're not going to hijack this video and talk about Tyreek Hill, because obviously, you know, I was originally a big fan. I was aware of what he did in college. I thought, yeah, you know what? He got his second chance, and up until this last year, he made the most of it. I was like, all right, he's an exciting player, and he seems to learn from a horrible mistake he made in college. Now, with the, kid stuff coming in, I'm a father. I simply do not like him anymore at all. And I think most of you guys, I think that ship has sailed for most fans, even Kansas City Chief fans in particular. But that is for another time and place. But Tyreek Hill does not have an ability. And when, if we're just grading him on on-field talent, should probably be there. Amari Cooper, Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Cooks, maybe Larry Fitzgerald for some of the slot ones. Those are some big-time omissions. Have I missed any that you guys are triggered about, upset about? Let me know in the comments. So let's jump into some of these abilities. We will start with the X Factors. There's nothing too overpowered. Again, I feel like when we had the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers' ability was very overpowered. Then we moved to the running backs. Nothing was really that ridiculous. It just made good players feel like good players. I think that's the same case here for wideouts, at least when it comes to the X Factor abilities. We have Double Me, which is a very popular X Factor. AJ Green, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Juju, Hopkins, Thielen, and Kelce all have Double Me, and this means that when this player enters the zone, the ability increases their success rate on aggressive catches against single coverage. Now, obviously, with these X Factor abilities, you have to achieve in-game objectives to unlock them. This one's going to be pretty good. I feel like aggressive catching is the most common style of catching. I even think just from like a hand placement thing for me, I know I usually go aggressive catch even when it's not the right decision, because it's just Y on my Xbox controller. So I feel like from a casual standpoint, Double Me will be the most used, the most wanted one. We have Rack 'em Up, which is another X Factor ability. Odell, Antonio Brown, and George Kittle have it. And when you get this zone, this increases the ability of a player's success rate on rack catches against single coverage. So, I mean, this is going to be pretty damn good for slants. Again, casual friendly, if you will. I'll definitely utilize that as I run a lot of slants in my playbook. Then we have Max Security. This is only the Zach Ertz, so that's kind of cool. When he enters the zone, the ability increases their success rate and decreases knockout chance on possessing catches, which makes sense. I mean, Zach Ertz is probably the surest-handed tight end in the National Football League, and you definitely have to put him right up there with just receivers in general for his hands and making those possession-type catches in real life. So overall, though, those are the only 3 X-Factor abilities right now in the game, and nothing sounds freakily overpowered. Nothing seems like it's going to be an unbelievable headache. All those players that have the abilities that I just mentioned, I mean, they probably should make those plays more often than not against, secondary players that don't have X-Factor abilities. These are players that are superstar talents, and they should feel like it in game. And again, it comes back to that opening question I had. Is a common theme in all the comments is how overpowered does this make the game feel? And I feel like I personally like it. I like that these really, really good players are going to play like really, really good players. And I know that there's the fear that it's going to be more animations and just more cheese and stuff like that. It doesn't really feel like that, to be honest with you. Not at one point when I've played 30 hours of the game probably already have I felt like, like I was throwing my controller, like ripping my hair out. I mean, I have a buzz cut, but, it felt good. Everything felt good. So nothing overpowered, though, from the X Factor. So then we move into superstar abilities. Now, these are abilities that don't need to be activated in-game. The player always has these abilities. So there's a whole bunch in here. Like I said, guys, check the link out to Madden School if you want to look through each individual one. There's a couple really juicy ones, though. I think this is where we start seeing some overpowered traits, overpowered abilities that are going to be really, really nice to get, especially like we're a franchise channel when we focus towards drafting players. When you find out your player is going to be in this archetype and has the potential to unlock these abilities, you got a good one. So we have first up that I want to bring attention to is Streak Specialist. Players that have this ability run sharper routes and catch more contestedly when running streak routes. It's simple. It's casual, friendly play. You just want to throw it up to a guy. He's going to come down with it. AJ Green and Mike Evans both have this ability. So it's not speedsters. It's it makes sense. On one hand, this seems like it could be an ability that you give to your deep threats. Your Tyreek Hill that was omitted, or your Deshaun Jackson could have got one, but. The fact that they give to the big-bodied possession-type jump ball guys. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey could get this as well. But that is a big-time ability, and I think that this will be ability that if you can get a wide receiver who's archetyped can unlock this, and he also has some speed. Because, I mean, A.J. Green's probably going to have 90 speed. Mike Evans, 89. These guys aren't going to be burners, but there's going to be some probably scientifically created, random generated draft prospect that's going to be 6'4", 93 speed, that will have Streak Specialist, and it is going to be very, very overpowered. We have Jukebox, which is Odell Beckham Jr. and Stephon Diggs have it. So this is the first time Diggs makes an appearance, as he wasn't one of the X Factor wide receivers. But this gives you ball carriers, have faster juke animations. I feel like when you have anything that affects the animations, and obviously for this, it's all going to be positive. I think that's going to be huge because it just gives you an ability. You're gonna have stuff that's gonna catch people by surprise, especially when you're playing versus user, but I think versus computer as well. So I think anything personally that affects anything that has to do with animations is gonna go into the slightly overpowered category for me. I think that another one is Slot-O-Matic. I utilized this one a couple times. Very, very good. Players who have this ability when lined up in the slot make faster cuts and have better hands on short routes. So Julian Edelman, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Adam Thielen have this. And again, I mean, obviously, Slot-O-Matic is going to make it so you have better hands on running those short routes. But the fact that this makes their ability faster cuts, that kind of goes into animation, things that aren't really in your control, I'm going to have to slide that into the overpowered ability. Because when we compare that against, there's usually 4 or 5 different abilities that give you more hot routes and stuff like that. When you compare things that affect the mechanics of the game, the animations of the game, versus just, adjustments and stuff, you always are going to weigh it towards the abilities that have a bigger influence just over the gameplay, the core gameplay itself. So for that, I am definitely throwing Slot-O-Matic into the overpowered ability. There's stuff for red zones, there's stuff for flags, double moves, that can be pretty damn good. Double move elite. When players with this ability have an increased success rate running double moves against man coverage. So again, this actually comes up. You want to get some streaks going, get some big time plays. T.Y. Hilton, Devontae Adams are 2 new players that didn't have X Factor abilities who have this superstar ability, as well as tight ends Travis Kelce and George Kittle. So I think that's a good one. But if I had to put the most overpowered ability when it comes to wide receivers, regardless of if you're including the X Factor or not, I mean, Jukebox, grab and go. or Jukebox, sorry, and Slotomatic are pretty good, but Grab and Go has to take the cake for me. With this ability, after securing a catch, ball carriers with this ability can quickly shift momentum, change direction, and run the corner without sacrificing speed. Odell and Antonio Brown are the only two players that have Grab and Go. I think that takes the cake. And if we're going so far through 4 positions, we've talked about quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Grab and Go is going right up there with Gambler with Aaron Rodgers, I think, for the most overpowered. This year is all about giving special players better animations, better ball movements that doesn't really have anything to do with user input, with user skill. This is just, these two guys are simply gonna play better because of this ability than other players. And again, you know, focus in the franchise mode. This is gonna be a huge one if you can draft a player that possesses this skill. But Grab and Go for my money. Odell, AB, I mean, those two players should play almost above and beyond most of the wide receivers in this game. I think this ability will have them do that as well. So as we wrap up the video, guys, those are just some of the talking points that I want to bring up about the X Factor abilities for wide receivers and tight ends. But a good question that I kind of wanted to talk about at the very end, it was a nice suggestion that I saw. I think it was one of the top comments in the quarterback video, is people suggested maybe have some negative X Factor abilities. And I think that I understand in year 1 of implementing this in Madden 20, you want to keep it positive. You want to have it so that it's all good, players play very, very well. But I think that there's definitely going to be room to grow if they want to implement anything during the Madden 20 cycle, or focusing more towards Madden 21 of implementing negative abilities. You know, if a player throws 7 incompletions, something negative will trigger and he just can't get out. It's very similar to kind of like momentum. Maybe it'll be a way to blow up the momentum system in Madden, but I definitely think that that is something that could be pretty fun. I mean, ultimately, Madden has had this issue of making it too user-friendly, too casual-friendly. We've seen it across all the modes, and adding something that will punish a player, which is not really a selling point. No one really wants to go, oh my god, I can't wait to play and buy this brand new game and suck, and then something's going to trigger to make it suck even more. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard sell, but I do think going forward, that is something that's very interesting. So let me know what you guys think about that as we leave this video off here. Do you think that the future of these abilities is to start to look at maybe some negative abilities that, you know, adds an in-game challenge of trying to get out of it? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that could be something that Madden, and you know, we could maybe get some momentum behind and bring that and suggest that to some of the developers. So thank you guys for watching the video. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Madden 20 season is just starting to hype up here on the channel, and I want you guys to stick along for the ride. I can't wait to start bringing you guys some rebuilds and all that good news. You know, face of the franchise. What am I going to do for a creative player? I'm sure it's going to be ridiculous. We got franchise mode. Am I going to play MUT this year? Probably not. But yeah, I hope you guys all stay tuned for all that content. I hope you're enjoying the content we still have in Madden 19 on the channel because of the double uploads with the predictions, Madden 20 ratings predictions, and we've been getting these news for the X Factors. The Super Bowl for the Marshals has been put on hold. The plan is to have that drop this weekend, as well as the newest episode of the Ultimate Rebuild. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.